Welcome to the 3 Grandmas podcast once again. Pragpro's walking over to his TV to turn it off because he's not ready. He's not a real streamer.
Nope.
He's not a true streamer. He doesn't know the ins and outs of the industry. Unlike experts me and Time.
I don't know how to stream.
We've kind of been coaching him.
Yeah.
In stream.
I'm an older guy, and they let me hang out. The younger guys do, and it makes me feel like I'm still useful, even though I'm not.
Yeah, we toss him some bones every now and then.
Yeah,
like they pretend to listen to me and take my advice. I love it.
We talk about the war every now and then, just to make him feel involved. But
I fought in Korea.
Did you actually?
So brave of you.
Yeah, I did, JC. 1957. I was in Charleston.
I still don't know. When was the most recent war? I don't like.
It's now.
It never stops. We've been at war since 2001, and there's been a global war.
The war on drugs is still going. We're still doing
it's
it.
In every you can get a map of active war zones in the world, and it's going to fill up everywhere south of the equator. Africa, Latin America, New Zealand's in a civil war that nobody reads about and nobody talks about. You know,
this is true.
Yeah, the government's about to topple over there. People don't even know about it. People don't sad. It's crazy that people have no idea that they're fighting in the streets in New Zealand, in Auckland, in Wellington, and Christchurch. And nobody knows, and they don't cover it. And maybe because it's just white people. That's why they don't cover it.
It's also sad because they, previously to this government, they had the best government they've ever had, and now they're in civil war because they voted in the shit government. Voting counts.
I don't know where they get the laser guns from. That's pretty cool.
You say laser guns? What?
Yeah, they have a laser gun war. It's a revolutionary laser fight. Okay. In New Zealand? Are we talking about New Zealand, right? You see
New Zealand,
the coverage. Okay.
No, cool. I don't. I don't see the coverage.
You don't see it. Well, clean out your ears.
What have you been up to?
You want to talk about this movie?
Well, I was actually going to ask Time how his day's been before we do that, but
he was selling concessions at the stadium. He just got off work. Look at him; he's got hot dog juice on him. Nobody dresses like that to just hang out. He's on duty.
I'm glad this isn't smelling.
So let's see what I do today. I woke up, stumbled out of bed. What did I do? I don't remember what I did. I watched the movie, and then I had dinner with Flame, and that's pretty much it.
All right, let's talk about the movie then. Prag, do you want to introduce?
The New World is a 2005 historical drama by Terrence Malick. It's about the Jamestown, Virginia settlement in the 17th century. It's about John Smith and Pocahontas. It uses primary documents to draw a lot of the script, which is interesting because they're taking the words right out of, the diaries of a lot of the participants. Christian Bale's in it. Colin Farrell. I don't want to mispronounce it. Koranka Kilcher? I don't know how to pronounce her first name. Apologies, Ms. Kilcher. Christopher Plummer. Christian Bale. And then the cinematography. Emmanuel Lubezki. Phenomenal. And then James Horner did the composer. And I saw it when it came out. Probably not in the movies because it didn't really get a great response in the theaters, but it did on further, when right then is when Netflix started to cooking and sending out DVD. So a lot of films that really didn't get attention in the theaters, like in 2003, nobody would even think about them, but then you saw them. It was good. It's a love story. I think we needed to cleanse the palate a little bit after the Overfiend and remember that people still care about each other in some places. And I just dig it. I just think it's a beautiful shot. I love the natural world, and I like that it's coming from the perspective ultimately of Pocahontas, right? Because the first scenes they show the ships, but it's from her view seeing it, and I mean the perspective does shift to John Smith a lot of the time and stuff. And it's a story about politics. It's like a Romeo and Juliet to some point.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil all the plot, but I don't know. I like this movie a lot, and I still like it. And I saw it this week again, and I really enjoyed it. It was they try to be very authentic to why the colony failed and all the things that they could have been doing that they weren't, and the infighting and the crazy politics, right? Because there's a couple scenes where they're just torturing John Smith, and then some new governor comes, and then they let him go, and it's like no wonder like he had to fake his death and all that stuff and go up, to Newfoundland, because just when you're around people back in the day, and they're pilgrims, it's going to be wild, and so he probably wanted to be free from it.
Time, you've self-identified. You self-identified as an LA native. How was his pronunciation of the lead actress? Perfect. Nailed it. Love that. Love that.
It's an Algonquin name, isn't it?
I thought it was Powhatan.
Oh, yeah, but aren't they part of that?
I don't think it's our place you guys' place is white men to announce.
Powhatan tribe.
Right.
Okay. The Powhatan tribe.
I'm going to shut up. I do want to ask, which version of the film did you guys watch?
The unrated X cut.
Yeah.
Is there multiple
Sex
versions?
version.
Yeah, there's
John Wolfe, not Smith. I'm sorry, John Wolfe.
There's a theatrical cut and then the extended cut, which is the director's preferred version.
How long is the director's cut?
The director's cut is 3 hours long.
Oh, I watched the theatrical version then.
Okay. I watched what was on YouTube. I didn't even know there was an extended cut. I didn't know that.
Okay, well, I watched.
I would have watched that though.
I don't know how different it is. I watched the 3 hour cut, but yeah.
Did they added an hour to it?
Half an hour. It's 2.5 hours.
That's usually
2:15.
Yeah.
Oh, 2:15.
You're right.
So out of 45. Wow.
Okay. Interesting. So
that makes me wonder just how much is added, because I was watching this film, the 3 hour version, and I don't think it, like, there's moments where it dragged for me, but there's nothing that really stood out as being like forced in or any, like, I don't know what I'd cut out like from the 3 hour version besides some of Malick's like very ruminating sequences. I don't know if he just extended those or if there's like whole subplots that are missing that I didn't know about.
I don't think
apparently he's really prolific for just like casting someone and shooting heaps of footage and then just like completely cutting them out in the edit room, like whole characters and whole subplots that didn't work. Apparently he's very renowned for that. Like that's something that happens a lot with his filmography. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie for the most part, and we'll get into why.
Do you want to talk about Terrence Malick for a minute? I mean, we should, right? I mean, he's directed Badlands in 1973, Days of Heaven. He won a Golden Globe for The Thin Red Line in 1998. And then there's Tree of Life, which people love or hate, and that's kind of like his magnum opus, I suppose. Or I think this might be even a better display, even though he didn't photograph this one, right? He brought in a cinematographer. He wrote this, but then he's using a lot of lines from that's already primary resources.
Well, Emmanuel Lubezki is very like he's done a lot of stuff. He was I believe he's a cinematographer on The Revenant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He likes to work with Inarritu a lot. Birdman, obviously. Let me double check.
Birdman, Revenant, Gravity, Sleepy Hollow, Little Princess, Children of Men, and Tree of Life.
I mean, Children of Men is one of the best shot films I've ever seen. So
he's
like
great.
He
might be the best cinematographer.
He might be, like, genuinely might be. There's a lot of great ones, like Roger Deakins is obviously up there, and trying to think of another one off the top of my head, but it's not coming to me. Del Bonnell, who did Amelie, I put him up there. Yeah, it's a lot of good ones, but it's hard to.
How did you think about how this film was shot? I mean, how do you like the natural world part of it, regardless of the actors and this plot and everything? Just like, and then the way they open with the James Horner soundtrack, and like they just feature as a main character of the new world, and it must have been so amazing to people who are coming from another world, and just to like think that there's totally different topography and everything.
Yeah, and I love the way that the film opens with like them seeing the white sails show up on the horizon, and they just like completely
like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, could you imagine? Like it's us seeing UFOs, you know?
It's just like UFOs land, and all of a sudden they just start making a fucking camp, and they don't know how to camp properly, and they starve to death, and you got to feed them all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And they're so crazy from religion that they just are always shooting themselves in their own feet.
I have to say, like the cinematography, like some of it felt like like as good, if not better, than things you'd see in a David Attenborough documentary. Like absolutely just stunning photography. And I have no idea how he does it. Like I'm trying to understand what's his name, Terrence Malick, because he basically came out of nowhere. Like Days of Heaven's his first film, right?
Badlands in 1973,
Badlands?
I think.
Is he like extremely rich or like what's?
Let's find out. Because let me see if it mentions. He is now probably.
Yeah, because he seems like, from what I understand, he's like a weird old hermit who doesn't show up like publicly ever.
And he's old as fuck now. He was born in 1943, so he's in his mid 80s.
Over his whole career, he's been like an elusive filmmaker. So I just like, how did he get his start? And like, was he shopping scripts around and stuff? Like, how did
he grew up poor? Basically, his parents were. His dad was a geologist. He's a Lebanese and Assyrian, and Irish Catholic. You know, it looks pretty. Oh, he went to Harvard, summa cum laude. Phi Beta Kappa, Rhodes Scholar, Oxford University. So he's just a genius, bro. He was, so he had no money and he just kind of fucking dragged his ass over the line.
Good. Well, that I respect that a lot.
MFA from the AFI, Master of Fine Arts.
It's almost
like an academic became a director.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's almost like a academic or a like a nature documentarian or a like a historian, like just became a director and just knew how to capture the essence of the time period. And
it says he wrote the first script for Dirty Harry, which is
that true?
The Clint Eastwood movie. That's what it says. He wrote early uncredited drafts of Dirty Harry, Drive, he said, Pocket Money, something called The Gravy Train. I don't know these ones. And then he just popped off with the Badlands with Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek, which is about a young couple on a crime spree in the Dakotas.
Is Badlands his first film?
Yeah, that's his first movie, and I think that really inspired like the Bruce Springsteen album, right? I think he has an album called Badlands, and he also has Nebraska. It's I think it's a monochromatic movie, or it's just very like austere, and it's just these people going on a crime, killing spree. It's kind of like Natural Born Killers.
I need to watch it.
It's interesting.
So this is my second Terrence Malick film, and I've been scared to watch other Terrence Malick films because my first experience with Terrence Malick was The Tree of Life, and I think I saw that when I was 16, 17. I was young. So I might just be wrong in it now.
You might have to like revisit it since you know so much more about film now.
Yes, I agree. But at the time, I remember, I think my girlfriend showed me The Tree of Life, and she was like, "You have to watch this," and I just did not enjoy it at all. I found it to be, I don't want to say pretentious, I hate that word, but I just found it to be very cloying and hold your hand with the symbolism and hold your hand with the messaging. Like, it just felt very patronizing to me, and I couldn't get into it from what I remember. Time, have you... Sorry.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention Days of Heaven lastly. That's it's his second movie, and that's why if we talk about the cinematography and what makes it special, he's really into golden hour and getting that right before dawn, right after dawn, and right before dusk, that light. And then you see that all through this movie too. And that's a really good movie about the Texas Panhandle and the love trial. It's kind of like this, but set in that setting. So that's an interesting movie like that. But
absolutely.
Time, please.
Yeah. Before I ask Time what I was going to ask, I've also heard...
why don't we just keep going and just maybe Time watches this one?
You're probably gonna want that.
Just joking.
We do have a question in the chat though. Do we accept movie review suggestions?
What do you want us to review?
Yeah,
one of us will pick something if it's good.
Hit us up.
Yeah, we take all kinds of things. We take whatever you give us.
Like, we take it all on board. Like, if I read a comment like that, I might pick it.
It doesn't inspire us to pick certain movies.
Yeah,
absolutely. Exactly. If I forget about a movie.
But it is also about the guests. Like, we have guests every second week, and it is about just what we want to talk about and what we want to show. But it'll absolutely like sway us for sure.
Yeah, and we have the Discord too, and if the link is at the top of the page under the channel banner, and if you want to like Like, we love to make that more vibrant of a community. We should be doing some more watch things. And like, if you want to talk about movies there, please come in and we'll talk to you about movies or whatever.
Yeah. So what I also wanted to say is I haven't seen The Thin Red Line, which is about World War II, and that's
a banger.
It's the other film that came out the same year as Saving Private Ryan, but I've heard some people say it's actually the better war film of that year, but it was just like underrated compared to.
I don't think anyone knows about it, and it's really good. And like, if you like war movies, you should check it out because he knows how to like technically deliver. Right. At the very least, he technically delivers. Right. Yeah. You're not going to see bad performances from the actors. You're not going to see, just like fucking laziness, like a dolly in the camera shot, or he's like he knows some things.
But I wanted to ask Time, had you seen any Terrence Malick films before? And like, how did
Garfield 2, right?
How did you
directed Garfield 2?
You mean Joel Cohen, right?
He directed Tale of Two Kitties. He was not credited. That's a Malick film. You could look at the golden hour lighting in it. The lasagna's perfectly lighted.
The lasagna.
Time.
Time's gonna eat, and he's just gonna start eviscerating.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Had you heard of Terrence Malick? Had you seen any of his films before this? And how did you feel about him going into this?
Let me go ahead and bring up the Terrence Malick controversies real quick. So.
Oh, here we go.
In 1983, no. I've honestly only ever heard of him through you guys. When you guys mention him, that's it. I've heard of the movies, but I didn't know he was attached to them. Like, I've heard of Thin Red Line, and so forth and so on. Tree of Life, all stuff like that. I've heard of those movies. I've never seen them. I didn't know he was attached to them. But yeah, so no, to answer your question.
And now I want to know, going into this, do you like starting off? Because I know you're, you go back and forth with like whether you like a film or not. While I was watching this film, I had you in mind. I was thinking he's going to find this extremely boring. How did you feel?
Yeah, I knew that was going in. I knew that was going to happen.
Was it an issue or was it not?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm looking over here to see what it was nominated for because I just wanted to see. It was nominated in the 2006 Oscars for Best Cinematography.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It didn't win. It didn't win.
No, what won that one year?
Memoirs of a
Saving
Geisha.
Ryan, I think.
Memoirs of a Geisha.
See,
that's politics.
I don't know.
See, that movie was not that great, and it won a bunch of awards, and it shouldn't have. Yeah. Right? I've seen that movie, and it was fine, but nobody talks about that movie anymore because it doesn't hold up.
Right. So I haven't seen that. So you guys, with going with the information that Prag knows, I think that's a travesty because I think this is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen before in my life. It is crazy how good it was, and
I told Flame Princess to watch it too. She's gonna love it. She should watch it.
She wouldn't have loved it.
Really?
No.
You have to explain that to me later.
I'll tell you. I'll get to it.
Okay. Right. I'm sorry.
I'm a bit of a audio and video quality snob.
Sure.
So I cranked this up as high as I could on YouTube, and it was 1080p. Gorgeous. It could have fooled me. It could have been 4K. It was.
It should have been in 4K, right? Imagine this in 4K.
Yeah. The setting, the music, everything just drew me in. In between the little bit that I kept picking up my Steam Deck to play Blotto because this movie was boring as fuck.
Wait,
I just kept looking at the screen and going,
"Are you doing a fucking?"
I want to like this movie. I want to be involved in it, but the plot goes nowhere. These characters are terrible.
It's a true story.
Nothing makes any sense. It's
okay.
It just jumps from one person to the next. There's no coherence to it. It's. I thought this was awful plot wise, but again, visually, I couldn't stop looking at it. Like it was like that. Like I just kept looking. I was like, "That's crazy." And like I said, I picked up.
You're a Malick head.
I picked up my Steam Deck.
Watch the other movies. They all look like it.
I tried to watch this. I couldn't get invested in the plot. Stuff like that.
The love story.
Between a 15-year-old and a 30-year-old, no, I'm good, man. I'm good on that.
It's the fucking
Anyways.
1600s.
Oh, so you're an apologist? Okay, is that what we're doing now? Okay.
It was a different time, bro. But they didn't portray her as a 15-year-old at all. No. And I think the story really picked up when she marries her second husband.
Hold on.
Okay.
The actress was 14.
How am I supposed to know that? I don't know that.
What?
Well, no, I'm talking to Pragpro.
Kritchner was?
Yeah.
14?
She was 14 when they shot it.
I had no idea about that. That's the first time I knew that.
That's a little...
Yeah, she was 14.
Well, they didn't have any love scenes, though. They never even, there was not even a kiss.
Yeah.
Was there a kiss?
In the extended version, there was a kiss, I think, twice.
I didn't see any kissing in the version I saw.
A lot.
Yeah, they were up against each other, but I actually do respect them for that. I feel like it was very tasteful, and I feel
and she was amazing as an actor for that age in her first role. She knocked it out of the park. She must have been nominated for something.
I don't really think that's tasteful. Fucking 14-year-old touching up on a 30-year-old. I don't think it's tasteful.
Look, the actors,
they're performing
on set.
Okay, what about Taxi Driver when Jodie Foster plays she was 12 or 13 in that, and she played a prostitute.
That's terrible. Also.
Probably,
okay, but it's acting. It's not. It's acting, pretend.
Yeah.
It's pretend. There's 100 people around, and they're all watching everything, and it's all, set to pretend.
I think it was acting on the Nickelodeon shows too.
I don't know anything about fucking Nickelodeon. All I know is nobody's complained about Terrence Malick being weird. So I know about.
From my point of view, it felt really restrained. It felt like they were avoiding that.
Because that's the time frame too. Because they're around a bunch of pilgrims, and they're all watching everything. It's like you can't touch anything.
It doesn't affect the movie for me because I still feel the way I feel. It is super weird to me, but just going off of face value, I wouldn't be able to There's nothing to where it goes, man, they were super crazy sex scenes, and it's like, oh my god, she was 14.
I had no idea. To this day, I never heard that. I never knew that, and now I'm going to rethink about it because she doesn't look. She looks like she's in her mid-20s or something. So, but it's also not really a movie about that kind of stuff. It's really about the politics of the situation, and the plot is structured around the real things that happen in the order they happen.
But here's my big issue.
So they can't add and subtract things to a historical.
I think this movie has a lot going for it, and I think it has a lot of good. My biggest issue are choices, the choices that they make. John Smith and Pocahontas. Historically, there's no evidence that they had any romantic.
Isn't this John Rolfe?
No,
John Rolfe.
No, John Smith.
That's Christian Bale's character.
Oh, that's the second guy. Okay,
Colin Farrell plays John Smith. Christian Bale plays John Rolfe. There's no evidence that Pocahontas and John Smith had any romantic connection. I looked up the history before I watched the movie because I think it's important. And secondly, apparently her romance between her and John Rolfe was a lot more tumultuous than the film presents. And that's a choice. That's a choice that a director makes.
Sure.
So why are they making that choice? And I feel like part of it is they're trying to reframe Pocahontas not as a heroine. I mean, that she does heroic stuff in this movie, but it makes her story just about these two men that she met, and I feel like it really makes her story a lot smaller than the actual history. When you read about her history is fascinating, and how she interacted with the colonists and everything.
And they sent her to London, right?
Her visit to London. And
she saved all of their asses. If they were smart, they would have just killed everyone and burnt all the boats. But she kind of kept the thing going, right? Because they allowed the foothold, and that winter, she didn't have to save them. So
exactly,
she might get some blame.
And my issue.
But as a 14-year-old, that makes sense because they're going to be emotional and they are going to think about those things. When she goes to save them, she's only thinking about her boyfriend, right? She goes to him immediately. Why didn't you come for me? Right? That's the only thing she says. That's the only thing she cares about.
And that's my issue.
And that's why it's a love story, though.
The framing. I feel like the framing just, it kind of. It
definitely set up to tell the love story part, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I love a love story, and in a vacuum, I feel like this love story is pretty solid. It's well written.
I felt the pain that they felt, the unrequitedness and the this. I could feel it.
Absolutely.
I could feel it.
Did you feel the love time
tonight? No, I did not.
What do you think about the Christian Bale storyline? I thought the plot picked up then, right? Mm-hmm. Because she's trying to, for me personally, because I was more engaged in okay, how is she gonna she feel back in the day you had to get married. It was something that had to be done, mm-hmm. right? And so, and then I love how honest she was being with him the whole time, because she was still in love with this other man, and but she told him about it, and he was so cool about it and very wise, and and in the end she ends up falling in love with him because of the way he handled it. And I think there's a good lesson in that. Yeah. Because everyone's in their second or third relationship in the world, right?
It's interesting that you felt like the plot picked up there. The parts that I was fully invested in is when John stuff? No, it's when John Smith is taken to the village and
that was great too.
I thought that was
sequence,
fire.
Yeah, beautifully shot.
There's something that I did that you guys are not going to like.
Okay.
So from that point on, he goes to the village, and then he's meeting with the high-ranking people, whatever you want to call them, the chief, maybe not.
That's racist.
I was gonna say, what is he? The
head, that's what he is. The chief. They call him the king. John Smith in his diary calls him
the king. Okay, met the king. Mm-hmm. And then, after that, he teaches them things. When he builds a rapport with all of them. From that point to pretty much when he got back with his own people, I put the movie on 1.5 times speed.
No, you didn't.
I love the part when he goes back to his own people and they're all fucking wreck and the kids are starving to death. And I'm like, oh, where have you been?
It made their
and then the crazy guy confronts him.
They talk so slow.
I feel like you're cheating on me, Tom.
And then I recommend.
I hate that. And then when he got back to his own people,
I use closed captioning for the Brits because they're very hard to understand in that accent. So I do use closed captioning.
We had to do that a couple of times, but then the subtitles were so huge that it was covering the screen, and I was like, I have to take them off again because the movie's too beautiful to just cover with text. If the subtitles I had were small text down the bottom, that would have been perfect. But they weren't like that. And that's crazy time because I loved that sequence when he comes back and then the tribe shows up at their camp, at the human camp, and basically
What do you mean the human camp, JC? Because a lot of our people are typing in chat that the indigenous people are in fact human beings.
Oh, no,
okay. And I've been waiting for you to slip up like this, and here I am now. Right? And then who comes to get you? Me.
We got a new grandma.
You're off. You're off 3 grandmas. No, you are suspended. You cannot dehumanize people.
Let me cut this part. No, they are. The
you better not fucking cut this out.
Poor Jason.
I meant the European.
We know what
Next
you
time
meant.
I misspeak, you have to remember this time.
We know what you meant. Jesus.
They're the pricks. They should have left. That's my opinion. Anyway, my opinion is they should have left, but because they were treading on this land that wasn't theirs.
They were stealing people's property.
I love that sequence when the natives arrive at the European camp, and the Europeans start circling them and putting their hands on them the way that they did when John Smith arrived.
Beginning, yeah.
And it's they're the same. They're. This is very cringe, but we're all human beings. We all react the same way, in a way. Yeah. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I love the way John Smith interacts with the male natives at the camp. It's they're just laughing, having a good time, playing tag, I think, or stuff like that. Together. Yeah, it's like when they're smiling and laughing and stuff. For me, that stuff is just genuinely beautiful. It wrenches my heart, and that's the stuff that's good in this movie.
The culture was clearly superior for that environment that the indigenous people were living. Right, they were thriving, and these other people were destroying everything, make a mud pit, cover the first fucking mistake they make was making the fence. Right. And there's the scene when they come to do the raid and they're just popping over that fence. They're just hopping over it. Right. Easy. It's like, you idiots. Just like, why? If you're smart, you learn immediately what the people who live there do and you do what they do, no matter where you go. You don't try to like take fucking English society there and like mow everything down and like they don't know how to plant.
And that's what they did. But the second, I mean, I think that's my other issue with this film is in the second half, like once the colony like has gotten a foothold and it's treated like bittersweet, but I feel like it's not bitter enough. Like it really, to me, what I was seeing was like a genuine tragedy. Like it made me really sad, but the film, like, the way the film frames it, I feel like was not bitter enough. It felt it kind of felt like a kind of this was a necessary thing to happen. It's very, like this was necessary. I know, but like, I don't know.
Well, the crazy part is Pocahontas goes and lives with them, and like it's amazing that she could make that cultural transition in that day and age to like totally change her life into a much fucking worse way.
She was forced to, so
she was, of course, like they basically, but she did it, right? And she did the best she could because, I guess they're trying to talk about the fact that, they consider her the princess of the situation. And it was good leadership on her part because she was doing it for the interests of the greater good, I believe.
Yeah, I suppose so. I find it very like she's
take one for the team.
Yeah, but she's taking one for the, like, she's not fighting the colonization. She's just kind of
no way to know.
She gave up a long time ago.
She might think that's it. There's going to be this group and that's it. And like the whole continent's going to be like, she has no way to project like the whole. And then when she gets to London, she sees all the people. That's the wild thing. They don't understand the amount of people. I'm sorry, Tom.
Her actions were all like that she gave up, that she was just giving in to whatever. Because even when Rolf asked her to marry her, she's like, she doesn't say yes or no. She's like, well, that's what you want me to do.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, but the film, like, what do you want? And she's like, that makes you happy.
But the film doesn't treat it like a tragedy. That's the problem. It's like she's invited to England. She's invited to England, and it's like a huge moment. Like, meant to be like really. But I think that's really sad that they invited to England because she gave up. Like, that's kind of what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Prag? Like,
I mean, it's a different time. Right?
I thought that scene was weird too. When she went to see the king and the queen or whatever, and they were showing her things, and they're like, "Oh, look at."
That's what they did.
I'm like, that's weird.
That's what they literally did. That's exactly what they did back then. They used to do that in all the royal halls where the explorers come back. They had the same explorer parties with a raccoon and a bird cage and everything else.
It was weird. Man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They're fucking crazy, bro. It was like 100 years before the American Revolution, right? So that's even like far, far ago. Like these people were just out of knights and fucking chivalry and all that shit. Like they were barely out of the dark age in the 1600s.
See, I didn't actually know the story. Like, I didn't know the exact story of John Rolfe and Pocahontas before watching this. So I had like a funny experience watching this because I said to my mum, she doesn't marry John Smith. She marries John Rolfe. I know that. I know that history. And I know that Christian Bale plays John Rolfe in this movie. So I was watching this movie waiting for Christian Bale to show up, like in the background or something. And
just walk by in the background.
Yeah. Or like just... and then like him become a prominent role, but like it doesn't happen. Essentially, John Smith leaves, and then a scene later it cuts to just Christian Bale's full face. I was like, oh, there he is. now he's in the movie. Now I just thought it was very funny because I saw him in the like opening credits, and I was like, where is he? He's not.
But he's so good in this movie, though. Do you like his performance in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get a lot to do, but
I think he does because he's like has to earn the trust of someone like over time, and like I like the way he plays it.
I found Colin Farrell's performance to be a lot more powerful. I mean,
my
he
was definitely the star of this movie.
My biggest issue with Colin Farrell is his face, like his skincare routine was immaculate. Like his face was like crystal. He
was probably like 22 years old when they made this, right?
Yeah,
he was really young.
But what I'm saying is like you look at all the other guys, like you shoot all the other guys, their faces are all grubby and gross and disgusting, and then it'll cut to John Smith, and he's just got like the cleanest face, and like I think he has eyeliner on, if I'm not mistaken.
Genetics is good genetics.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Taz.
What's up, Taz?
And I just thought I found that very funny. But no, he does a great performance. There's a scene where he's he's interacting with her, basically teaching her words and stuff, and he does like this little smile, like this little, it's like a kid, like a kid finding a love for the first time. Like it's just like romantic. A little giggle smile. It's just like little things like that he does a great job with.
In that same scene when he's teaching her all the words, and she says something or she acts something out, and he's like, "Oh, it's this
water,
ear,
eyes,
whatever."
Yeah.
When she went like this, like that, I expected him to say mouth, but he said lips.
I thought he'd say mouth too.
Yeah.
I
didn't like that. I didn't like that.
So the original, and what's also weird is like, one of the big reasons why a lot of historians don't think that John Smith and Pocahontas had a romantic connection, not just because like none of his letters or anything indicated that, but also she was 11.
They indicated that. Hold on, they would have killed him if they indicated that.
She was also 11, which is.
It's literally the 17th century. I know, you were an adult at 9 back. I was like, I don't agree with it. Of course not. But like, I'm a modern person, and of course it didn't go. It wasn't as beautiful as this, and like they didn't look like Colin Farrell and Pilchner, and like it was. Of course, this is a fantasy. This is like Robin Hood. Like Robin Hood has some basis in fact, but most of the mythology around it is all made up stuff and like common. This is like the first American myth, right?
Well, don't ask me.
That's Pocahontas. Well, I'm just trying to like defend the decision to like. I feel like he wanted to make a love story in this context, but he doesn't care as much about the story about the invasion of the new continent. It's more about like the characters of the three, and so it's like Disney's version of Pocahontas. You're right; it's all made up stuff.
Yeah, but like. But
the words are true.
Yeah, the words are true. All the politics.
The words are written down, and you can read all that stuff. It's in like Howard Zinn's "A People's History of the United States" has many chapters with all the primary sources. It's really interesting.
Apparently, the portrayal of the Powhatan culture at the time is also like incredibly accurate.
That's what I read too. It's like very honored the correct the way it was.
Yeah, the way that the English built their settlements and how they had to think about like settlements, and specifically John Smith's camp was apparently a lot more inviting to the natives than a lot of others were. So that's accurate as well.
I thought they built it on a mosquito. They built it on a swamp, and there's this one scene where all the natives are swatting away the mosquitoes, and I think they talk about that in the literature. That they really fucked up because they built it like right on top of like a bog, and that's why they couldn't grow anything in part because of the saline water.
Yeah, and they thought they could get away with growing crops without them finding out, which I thought was like. I mean, it's just the kind of hubris that these guys had is crazy. Like
they believed in predestination. They believed everything was pre-decided. So no matter what they did in that morning, it was all like they're just being pulled by a string forward by an omnipotent being. So they already think everything's predetermined. So that's why they make so many bad decisions constantly.
I was watching this with my mum, and like the first thing they say, they call them the naturals. And she's like, "Oh, at least they don't call them savages." And like 2 scenes later, they call them savages.
Oh yeah,
thanks, Mom.
I was like, yeah. Well,
well, you said they weren't human, and that was
that was an accident. We're gonna cut that.
No, we're not. We can't.
You're rewriting history.
We don't censor. Yeah, we don't censor.
It was like a complete slip.
I know, brother. I know.
We know which is hilarious.
Obviously, my opinion is that the English should have fucking left or gotten with the culture and tried to like build something together instead of blocking them out and trying to assimilate them. But and obviously they're human beings and deserve all the respect in the world. This is me trying to get my brownie points
JC making amends.
Yeah.
For past atrocities.
Does anyone have any suggestions for my penance?
Punch yourself right in the
next
nuts.
time one of us misspeak, you just have to be understanding, just like we are right now. That's the punishment.
I'm really sorry. For some reason, I had in my head.
I know you made a mistake. Listen, I know you don't think nobody thinks that, so it's like crazy if you did.
This was like a Biden slip up. When
are you guys going to leave that beautiful man who passed the greatest infrastructure bill in United States history, had no scandals, had 4 years of peace and prosperity alone?
You know scandals?
Record low unemployment. The Congress never investigated him for anything. That there was no even talk of impeachment.
What did he say?
Which story are you talking about? The one that
I'm talking about when he was talking about schools and he was like the poor children do worse than the white children.
Do you know what the current president says every day?
Yeah. So he was talking about like schools and he was like school funding and he was like like poor children academically do worse than white children and like,
that's crazy.
Huh?
That's
crazy.
No,
that is true though. Poor children do worse academically than all other classes.
But he's just assuming that all rich kids are white.
Yeah.
like he's just made
it's like 85% in this country, JC. So so it's not that much of a stretch because that is the reality of underfunded school districts. It's mostly minorities.
Worse than Biden. You're right.
I don't even know why you guys can think of Biden with the current administration doing what they're doing. It's like, why are you so distracted about the past?
Great right now.
I don't
even know why this is why we're so fucked.
I'm just comparing the slip up.
I'm just saying. Right? Yeah, he slips all the time though too.
Just don't fall off your bike and we'll be fine.
Be fine. We'll be fine.
Don't walk any stairs.
I'll take 4% unemployment, and you can make foibles all day, and you can say whatever you want compared to what we're doing now.
But aside from that, I want to watch more Terrence Malick. I want to see the Thin Red Line. I hope they're not I hope they're I hope the choices they make in those films are better. But I do like this film. I think there's a lot going for it. I think it's obviously stunningly beautiful, and there's just sequences that I couldn't help but just like have a huge grin. Especially just like John Smith's and the battle section where they're fighting, incredibly shot. It felt like that episode of Game of Thrones, the Battle with the Bastard episode, like just the way it's shot. It's all in the mud and stuff.
Last of the Mohicans has scenes like that too. I feel like he bit a little bit from that movie, which is really good.
I got the same feeling from that Last Mohicans. I got that same feeling too.
Yeah.
That's another good movie.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
I mean, I got The Revenant from this. Like I was watching, I know it's the same cinematographer, but
that makes sense now.
Yeah, just the way that film was shot is very similar. It's just
it was the way the Revenant in this movie are kind of similar is because there's kind of like Time was mentioning the flow is like choppy sometimes. Like it'll follow one character for like 25 minutes and then it'll just like stop and like shift perspective like suddenly. And I feel like Revenant was very much like that. Like that's a movie you really have to like pay attention to get to follow and stuff because it seems like it would be very simple, but it's a very complicated movie.
I almost came on here tonight asking you guys when was this guy in this movie? Because
Christian Bale?
Because there's a natural stopping point where the screen just goes black. And I think it's after John Smith dies.
Leaves?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then it just cuts to black, and I was like, "All right." And I turned the movie off.
You did not really? You thought it was over?
I turned it off, and all of a sudden I saw the status bar, and I go,
"Wait a second,
I'm missing what the hell? What's going on here?" I turned on it kept playing.
That probably would not have been a good.
It was over. What the hell?
Yeah. So how long?
That's how the Overfiend ended.
I just want to know how long was the John Rolfe sequence for you guys? Because that was an hour left of the movie when John Rolfe appeared.
It was about an hour. Yeah.
An hour? Okay, so the stuff added must have been in the first half.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that it's like the stuff that's added in the 45-minute longer extended cut.
Yeah, I was reading some stuff about it, and I guess it's all part of the Criterion collection or something. I guess.
Yeah,
I have to know. Those shots are probably on YouTube. Like you can just probably watch the extended scenes.
It's
somewhere
probably just
on there.
more him interacting with the tribes. More,
I think
it's
it
like
was,
nature stuff, probably.
Yeah.
More film, like of landscape. I don't know. Who knows?
I was just reading through Emmanuel Lubezki's filmography. I mean, he's done a lot of great stuff. Burn After Reading, Gravity, Birdman. And I haven't seen Amsterdam. I heard that's terrible, but
I haven't seen it either.
Itu Mama Tambian. Did I get it? Did I do it right?
Itu Mama Tambian.
But the weirdest one on here is The Cat in the Hat.
The Mike Myers one?
One with
Mike Myers one.
Jim Carrey?
No, Mike Myers.
God.
He did the cinematography for The Cat in the Hat. I need to watch that movie again. Maybe the cinematography is like really good.
I must have paid him a fucking fuck ton of money for that. I have to work with Muppets today? Why do I have to work with the Muppets? Where's Terrence? I want to film more of the scenery.
It's funny because that film was a bomb. It lost money.
So was this movie when it came out.
Yeah.
It was underperformed very much.
I mean, I can imagine why. How would you make a trailer for this movie and make it accessible?
Well, you just show off the beautiful shots. Like people love natural world. I don't know. It had a second wind for sure. It definitely had a second wind.
I mean,
that happens all the time.
It's gotten a huge critical reevaluation. I don't know how much of that it deserves, but
it's entertaining. It's just an entertaining movie at the end of the day for me. I've seen it like 5 or 6 times, and every time I see it, I never I learn something new or I follow another plot point, so I like it.
Being the resident dum-dum on the show, can you go over what exactly a cinematographer does? Is he the guy that sits behind the camera? Does he plan the shots? Does he do all the above?
Yeah, so like a cinematographer and a director will work together on the shot list, and they'll work together on the camera movement. So a cinematographer will have someone who either they'll hold the camera themselves, or they'll have someone who'll do it for them. They'll have someone who pulls focus, but they're in charge of basically the way that a film is framed, basically the lighting in the scene.
The lighting is a big thing.
The lighting in the scene, the movement of the camera,
lenses,
the lenses that are used.
Aperture.
They actually, so they actually don't have any say in the colors of the film. The colors are the editor and the director work on that. So if you think a film looks beautiful color wise, that's because they've color graded it in a really, but there's artifacts in camera that you can see, the way the film, because this film uses a lot of wide angle lenses, it gets in close, a lot of wide angles, and that's a camera lens choice. So basically, the way the film looks, and basically if there's anything that's over or underexposed in the film, blacks and whites, that is also the cinematographer's fault. So making sure everything looks crystal clear, whether so see the shot behind you of Christian Bale's head, see how his face is in focus but the background is not in focus. That's the cinematographer's job. So you can have a deep focus, which means that him and the background are in focus, or you can decide to do shallow focus, which means he's in focus but the background's not. It's a whole range of things. The cinematographer does all of that essentially and works with the director. And the director asks, he asks him, what do you want to convey in this shot? And then the cinematographer just has the expertise to put it together. You know what I mean?
Think about a film set like a department store, and there's one manager. That's the director. But if you go into the hardware section, there's a hardware manager, and that's how films work. There's a lot of people doing the thing, and the director's going around checking with everybody and organizing.
Yeah.
Is a cinematographer able to change things on the fly in real time, or is it kind of
depends.
They can ask the director, they can give advice. It depends what
their relationship stuff, right?
Yeah,
how many years they work forever together. You would listen to this cinematographer, right? And they probably have a meeting in the morning and talk about the shots, and they already know what they're going to do because they've been doing it forever. And
but yeah, basically you can it really depends if what works. So if you have a shot list and then you get on set and the cinematographer's this isn't working, I have a better idea. The director, and then it's the director's job to say, yes, let's do it. No, let's not. So
and some directors are the cinematographer too, right? Some directors are the cinematographer. They don't have one, or they're much more involved. And like some sets, like the director really likes to work with the actors, and in some sets that'll be the second director or the associate director that handles the actor department, and the costume department was a different guy. You know,
like there's directors like the Coen brothers who will write the script basically in like 2 goes, and then
do the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and then when they're shooting, they'll shoot it in order. And they'll do one take and they're like, this is good, because they know exactly what they want, and they got it from this, like they're very rigid. And then other directors are like really free flowing, and they let the cinematographer, like, you know, have a lot more input. It really depends what set you're on, like who the director is.
Symphony, think of a symphony conductor, right? You have the different sections. You have the first violin who's in charge of the strings, really, but the conductor is like getting all of these disparate parts to work together. Right, it's the same kind of concept, but over time.
So does that give you an explanation, like sort of, on what cinematographers do in their role?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So, like, when you look at this, it's obviously the cinematographer's work, but it's also the director's work, because the director asked for it as well. So it's like, and sometimes you might have a mismatch of director and cinematographer where it just doesn't work, and a
lot of time. I mean, there's a lot of bad movies, right?
You said the cinematographer doesn't really work with the editor.
Sometimes
I mean,
there's no rules about it, right? It's like sometimes, like, you know, they might have that kind of situation, but not generally.
But generally, it's the director that works with the editor. So
depends on who has final edit. The studio could have it. They could give it to another editor, and the director doesn't even get to touch it. And that's when directors get fucked. I would never let that happen.
And in a way, like, because the shot list will be given to the editor as well. Not just the shot list, but also just like the list of shots that were taken. So it's then the editor's job to take all of that and make something of it. So it's like
a good director is sitting right next to the editor when he does that too. You don't just give it to them and just like go away, because then the whole fucking movie's going to come out different. Editing is huge.
Yeah,
it's
I know. I had to edit a film, and it was a nightmare trying to do by myself. Because there was just a lot going on, and the director wasn't always around, so I had to just like work with what I had and see if he liked it. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, for sure.
These are the most important people besides the director: the cinematographer and the editor. Right? Because like other stuff you can make up for, costumes, like, and then of course whoever's working with the actors, usually it's the main director, but sometimes it's like they'll bring in somebody who's just like hangs out with the actors and talks about the scenes and like works with them. You know, obviously multi-million-dollar movies have 7 fucking associate directors and stuff, and different location directors and different cinematographers at different
and then there's a producer which basically organizes everything for the director.
He's the money guy. In movies, he's the money guy. In TV, he's the writer.
No, that's an exec producer.
Well, I mean, it's the rule of thumb, though. If you're talking about TV producers versus film producers, is like a TV producer credit is a writing credit, and a producer credit is a business arrangement in a film. Much more about organizing the distribution and getting the money up, and like. But sometimes some producers are very like hands on, and sometimes some directors are the producer and they do the whole fucking thing. And so. Yeah,
being a producer is a lot of work. At least
I'm not trying to undersell
not an exec producer, but like a producer is a lot of work.
It's like office stuff. Like while the director is doing all the stuff to make the thing, they're doing the support structure behind the scenes and all of like getting ready to do the campaign to talk about the movie afterwards and marketing and all the other things that make the movie a success. Is very important.
Essentially, producer's job is to make the journey for the director as smooth as possible. Like, so they don't have to worry about everything. Yeah, so like they have
there's casting directors.
Calls. Yeah.
Right, and so the director might not even be involved in the casting if the studio doesn't let them, and it's just all casting directors that do it. But usually the director's obviously involved. But it's like it's very compartmentalized. It's much like the trade unions where you have plumbers and electricians and steam fitters, and like you have to be very technically astute to dominate that. But then to be the director, you have to understand all the parts and keep them on schedule.
And
All right, take it easy.
I was
All
about
right, bye-bye, Time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here.
Bye-bye.
And,
Bye-bye,
like,
cutie
okay,
pie.
now he's
the
back.
heater off. Jesus Christ, I can still hear you.
Bye-bye, cutie
No,
pie.
no.
I love you.
And then JC doesn't think
I'm a human too. You treat me like a human, okay?
JC, I am a human. Do you see my humanity?
Yes.
Look at my lips.
I'm no different from any other
nose,
human.
lips, just like you. Ears. Okay.
Waves.
I don't know if you understand.
Sun.
Okay.
What I was going to say was...
Sun. JC. You ruined my life telling me she was 14, dog. Oh, it ruins the enjoyment of that film forever now.
It doesn't change anything.
I can't even know if I can watch that again.
Would you recommend
I don't
I don't
understand.
What would you rate it, Tom?
You're asking me? Okay. God,
I'm asking you.
I was thinking about this
just be nice.
As soon as I finish watching this,
it's my birthday next week.
Well, yeah, the 15th, right? Is that what it is?
No, it's the 16th.
16th.
Yeah,
close. I was pretty close.
Yeah, it's the 16th. Close enough.
I'm
going to be 28 years old.
Yeah. I was just. I'm sitting there. I'm putting clothes in the laundry, and I'm just thinking, this is such a hard movie to rate because again, I just didn't care about a lot of it. But visually, again, it's so striking. It's so beautiful looking. It was like beckoning me. Watch me. And it's like I can't put it on in the background and just ignore it because
you can't.
Why would I listen to it? It's just incoherent to me. But visually, it's like beautiful. It's gorgeous. Everything looks good. Set design, background, costume, audio, the music, and everything was just so good.
I'm gonna make a video out of the scenery.
I mean, yeah, it's so hard to rate for me just because of that. I'm gonna go with 70. The visuals are that good. And it's so hard to recommend.
It's a good rating.
That's good. I was looking at some stuff online like I always do after I watch movies, and this could be true. I don't know. People were saying that this isn't the best Terrence Malick viewing to be for your first one. Like maybe there's other ones, and then you have to be like in the mood for this type of movie, which I can kind of see.
I can. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would. I think I could recommend it with like a caveat, like, hey, it's
free too, right?
It's free too.
It's free on YouTube for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I recommend it strongly.
Yeah, I'd recommend it with.
I watched the Criterion one, so I'm bougie like that.
But I'm just saying, like, maybe people don't have, can't afford it right now, and they want to. Like, I noticed YouTube is stepping up with better free movies.
They just released like
there's some bangers in there. There's some bangers in there. I'm gonna start streaming them. If I should show a fucking New World on stream.
We usually agree, or we usually ask each other, "Hey, we're gonna watch a movie. Did you guys know that there's a unrated, there's a whatever?" And we didn't this time. So I'm a little annoyed about that.
I didn't even think about it.
Is that my fault?
No, it's just
that I didn't disclose.
Maybe
is the director's cut streaming, or do you have to like get it from Criterion?
I'm not saying how I got it. It wasn't.
Okay, well, listen, I play by the rules. I'm a good kid, and like I want to be strong, and I think all people are people, and I believe in the humanity of indigenous persons. So, like, maybe that's the choices we're making.
The king that they visit is Jonathan the same Price. Guy in
James?
in Pirates of the Caribbean.
He is, yes, Jonathan Price. Yeah, I like him. He plays the Pope in the two popes. He plays Pope Benedict. Yeah.
I like that.
He's also the priest in Game of Thrones as well.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. Pragpro. Would you recommend The New World, and what would you rate it?
Yeah, it's free. It's on YouTube. It's a good date movie, bro. I was shocked that you guys were into the romance as much. Maybe I'm just so romantic, and that's my problem.
Yeah, it could be.
I thought it's just a very romantic. I don't know. Something about this movie. It's just like I think it's a very romantic movie. It romanticizes things, but that's what a romantic movie does. It's not supposed to be authentic because of the veil of romance is a veil of fantasy, right? It's because anybody who's ever been in love knows that that's not an accurate world view, right? And so there's this gauze over it. And I think that the New World in this movie is not North America. It's the love experienced by Pocahontas, in my opinion. So I like it. I just think the performances are great. I definitely recommend it. I give it like an 87, and watch it on YouTube. This is one of my favorite movies.
For me, like I agree with you. I agree with you, Prag. Like in a vacuum, I agree with you. But I feel like what's important is the fact it's the story of Pocahontas, and they made the decision to essentially lie about it. And that's the issue for me. Is like she was never in love with John Smith, and
did they lie about Robin Hood?
Story. No, but that's just a huge like that's the central theme of the movie.
Okay.
And like if you're gonna make that the central theme of the movie, pick a different character. Like don't.
Well, that's a documentary then.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can make a good movie that actually.
You didn't like that part of it.
Yeah, that invokes the themes of the actual Pocahontas. Like it could still be like fantastical or whatever, but and I just found the last third of the film to be difficult. Like I found it very conflicting because I was watching something so tragic happening. Like it genuinely upset me. But the way the film was telling it wasn't like it wasn't
framed as you were feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's my big issue with the film. But the stuff that really works is John Smith's interaction with the tribe, and then when they come back, and that whole battle sequence is incredible. Like I feel like that whole sequence outside of the love story, like that whole subplot, is like fantastic and makes the film essentially
a lot of adventure in the front hour, right? It's a very adventurous, and then it settles down a lot and turns into something else in the second half with Christian Bale.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. Like it's one of the most gorgeous films I've ever seen. Like even like Planet Earth by David Attenborough can't touch it. It's just like gorgeous.
That's how I feel. And I was worried you guys weren't going to see that part of it, but I'm glad that you guys do.
But because of all those caveats, I still think it's good. It's still I still think it's a good movie, but I'd probably give it a 65. Like that's where I'd put it. Yeah.
It's one of those beautifully filmed. Okay, fine. The numbers don't mean anything, chat. That's another thing we have to remember. Nobody records the number. Do you remember what number you gave Tron Legacy? Because I don't. I don't remember any of the numbers I give out. So it's like, why are we doing numbers?
I reckon I would have given it a 60. We'll see.
You reckon? All right, I'm going to go back through all the YouTubes. I'm going to record the numbers, and we're going to have a contest, and we're going to see who can remember what rating they gave to a movie. Genuinely. And the winner gets a coupon for Arby's.
I genuinely.
That's the challenge. Time? Are you afraid?
I don't like
because
Arby's,
you don't remember what numbers. Well, listen, you better fucking start brushing up because we're going to have a special.
I want you to go through all of them and put a spreadsheet together and average them all out, and then see which film has come out in top.
I'll have AI do it. I can have AI go right through all of the fucking things. She'll pull the numbers out and just spit them out at me. I think. Which
film have we rated the highest? Is it Scarface?
It might have been.
Yeah. Anyway, that's why I want you to go through it.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I just don't remember.
Not 35. I think this is a 40th episode now.
Big 4-0.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think we would get this far? Do you think we were going to flame out within 4 episodes?
No, I genuinely, when I started this, I was like, me and Prag and Time, we'll be able to talk about movies forever, I reckon.
That's the brilliant part of a show like this, right? Because it's never like, I never feel like I get on this microphone, I'm like, what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's magic. It's magic.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next epi about?
Ooh, so we've got a guest on next week. It's another film school friend of mine, Mitchell Mansfield Smith. The two Mitchells are going to be on this podcast. He has directed a short film called Putrescence. He worked with me on the Bench Boys Melbourne. He is Craig.
Bench Boys Melbourne?
Yeah, he was.
I'd love to see that. We should watch that on stream too someday.
Right now? No.
I'll watch it right now. We got, we can watch it next week. Because
so he was Craigslist in the Bench Boys. He helped me write that short film, and a lot of it was improv as well. So he's a talented guy, very opinionated. And we are watching a film on Netflix that came out recently called Uglies. I have no idea what this film's about.
Me neither.
I haven't heard good things about it, and I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure. I feel like this is one of those situations where we're going to be talking about how not to make a film.
I love to shit on movies when I have the opportunity. I don't always come in here.
Do you want to know the
be,
rating on Rotten Tomatoes for it?
Is it 1%?
16.
Let's
So he picked this on purpose as an example of a bad film. I like
it's directed by the illustrious Mick G.
We love
fuck?
Mick G.
Who's Mick G?
You know Mick G?
He made Terminator Salvation. He made
Charlie's Angels.
What else did he make? Charlie's Angels. Recently, he made The Babysitter, which actually was pretty decent.
I haven't seen it. Are we previewing the other film, or are we watching that before, or like we did last time, or how are we doing?
We're gonna do like basically what we always do. We'll watch them both before we come on stream, and then we'll talk about it. So his short film that we're gonna watch is Putrescence.
Okay,
I've linked it in the group chat.
Yep,
and I'll link it in the Discord as well. And this was meant to be, I believe it was meant to be a surrealist short film. Like that was the MO, was make something surrealist. Ooh. So we'll see. That. Or experimental. Surrealist or experimental. So we'll see.
Cool.
So here's his exact words. I picked a film, Uglies by McG, if not Speed Racer. And I said Uglies sounds like an interesting choice. I support it. McG has had
is fire. I wish he picked Speed Racer.
Damn it.
That's my favorite Wachowski film.
He said, "You'll enjoy how awful Uglies is." All right.
Oh, he's scrolling. Can I just watch Speed Racer instead? Have you seen that, Jason?
I have. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's fantastic.
Cool. It's fantastic. Really cool. It's fucking breakneck speed. It is fucking long, but it never stops.
Have you
seen
Speed Racer, Tom?
Mm-mm.
Oh my
you
god!
Should see that.
Did you ever have Hot Wheels as a kid? Did you ever play around with Hot Wheels?
Sure.
Yeah. Imagine that as a kid, but it's a movie. It's awesome. It's so good.
Wild.
The one thing I remember hearing about it was it's an awful movie, and it's just really bad, and it's a box office bomb. But then years later, people were just like, "This movie is incredible. Visually, it was ahead of its time." Like all shit like that.
Yes.
And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yes, it is. It is.
Can you convince your man to change the movie between now and then?
Nope.
No, we have to watch Uglies. Okay.
We're doing Uglies.
Maybe I'll watch Speed Racer and Uglies.
A double feature.
I'm excited to watch.
Yeah,
Uglies.
I love it.
I love a bad movie every now and then.
I like the fact that I don't know what it is too. That's my favorite type of movie to watch. Just have the title and no expectations, because that's what really kills things, right?
And also,
you're like comparing and like.
And it's a good time to talk about like prolifically bad directors like McG. He's like up there with Michael Bay and.
I have to study McG.
talk about what doesn't work with his films, but I'm excited.
They keep giving him money to make films, though. Isn't that the crazy part about these bad directors?
Pretty crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. But this has been great. Good to talk to you guys again about The New World. What a good film.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And then tomorrow on Your Dad Might Like This, we're going to review a Cocteau Twins album. If people are into dream pop and shoegaze, they can check that out.
I've heard of Cocteau Twins. Cocteau?
Yeah, it was going to be either that or My Bloody Valentine. But I thought the My Bloody Valentine albums were a little too dense for... Like they're tough.
Loveless or MBV?
Loveless and MBV. I was going to decide between one of the two, and I love them, but I don't know if people are ready for that. They're talking about 35 layers of guitar on guitar on guitar on guitar.
Loveless
on guitar,
is gorgeous.
on guitar.
It is a good.
It is, but you have to have an ear for. Like you have to know what you're. It's not a pop album, and it's not going to be on the radio. It is just literally a technical display, right? And it sounds weird, and the production is weird, and it sounds like lo-fi, but it's really interesting. But I don't know. I'll play some of that in the background during the epi. But I think the Cocteau Twins is a good album because it's accessible. Because I think people know about Kate Bush and stuff now, from Netflix show Stranger Things, and I think the voice, the singing is more accessible because it's a Scottish singer.
Yeah.
So check that out.
There's an album I've wanted to listen to for ages. It's kind of in the shoegaze vein. Sunbather by Deaf Heaven. You heard of that one?
Oh yeah, that's phenomenal. I love Deaf Heaven.
I want to give that a go.
Swerve Driver or something like that's another shoegaze popular band. There's a nice there's a lot of shoegaze playlists and you'll recognize a lot of the bands that are in it. And I think it's just a genre of music that's under talked about. And it's like people complain if I pick albums that are too popular. So this is something that nobody really has heard before. And I haven't heard this album too. I think it's Heaven or Las Vegas.
Okay.
And so I like that we haven't. None of us have heard it all the way through, and we can just see how we feel about it live. And I don't think there's a guest.
Are we doing Nosferatu? Or are we just gonna?
What? When was Nosferatu?
That was meant to be. It was meant to be Friday.
That was next Friday.
I thought it was
last Friday.
I thought it was on the. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was next Friday.
No, I want to. I want to watch it. I want to reschedule
this upcoming Friday.
I would love it if we could find a time that isn't in the crack of dawn. Like, is there a way we can?
If you want, we can do this time, but Friday. So Friday for me, Thursday for you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What show do I have on Fridays?
No, Thursday.
Don't I have a show on
Friday.
Friday?
Thursday.
So this time Thursday for you.
And we're not doing cable reads this month or week. We should do it this Thursday at 8. This Thursday, USA, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. I want to watch that movie. I like that.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but I like the
new
idea
one,
of it.
The new one, you mean?
The new one, yeah.
Yeah, because there's 3.
I haven't seen it yet.
So
I know we were going to review it. I thought for sure it was next week, but I'm down for Thursday.
Okay, I'm down.
Oh, Friday is Ghost Monsters. That's why that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thursday's perfect for me.
Okay, let's do it then. Let's do it.
And then we have Saturday too for next week. So we have a double pack super action weekend.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Before we leave, have you guys heard of Polyphia?
Is that the Bjork album?
No, it's a band.
Polyphia. No, how do you spell it?
Polyphia. No, I have heard of
Poly
Polyphia.
and then Fia.
Yeah, I've heard of it. What genre?
Like instrumental rock music, I guess.
No, it sounds familiar. And you know what? If you want to come on the show time, if you're available tomorrow night, I don't have a guest, and I'm looking for somebody. If you want to come on and listen to Cocktail Twins,
maybe I'll see. I got some stuff planned.
If you don't want to, that's fine too.
What time is it?
No, or you can't, or there's a thing, or because I have an open, there's certain people I know will have an open invitation if I don't have a guest.
Yeah.
If you're in the green room, I'll just bring you in and we'll just make you the guest that week. But you don't have to send an invitation to certain tomorrow.
So it's
because Fort said he might be interested in doing it, but he has, they have kids and shit. So it's whoever shows up, and if nobody shows up, we still do the show.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I love some math rock bands. I really like.
They're awful.
Black Midi. That's one of my favorites.
They're awful.
Animals as Leaders.
Animals Leaders is good.
Animals as Leaders is.
Did you say
good.
Black Midi shit? Is that what you just said?
Polyphia.
Oh.
JC, why don't you come on? Your dad might like this to review an album. We'll let you pick an album.
What time did you say?
It's always on. It's 8 Central on Sundays, which is 6 Pacific.
6 Pacific. So that's 10
on Sundays.
It's
2
so
hours
before we usually
for
do it now.
me. So 10 a.m. Monday. I could stick around for an hour.
That's fine. If you came on the show, we would just front load it and then we can do the thing later. If you want to come and do Cocktail Twins, you're welcome. If time doesn't want to, or you both can come on, or 7 people can come on, or one person, or or you can pick an album. If you want to pick an album, make a special epi.
Nah,
we can do that.
Tomorrow I want to do some swimming training, so I'll leave it for this.
JC will be swimming.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to bother you next week too. I might have Scar on. If Scar asked me to show him some of the stuff that I've been doing with the sets and stuff, so maybe Scar will slip on.
All right. Thank you so much for this episode, guys. It's been great. I feel like we're killing it every week. I'm happy.
We're getting good at this stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be the new.
Did you like my framing better today? I'm a little bit.
What do you
closer.
mean you're framing?
I'm a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Normally,
I don't like the TV behind you. I think I don't.
I like the TV behind him. I like it.
I
don't acknowledge video screens as art.
He wants AI backgrounds.
I just need a real painting. I need it because
these are real photos.
I know AI backgrounds. I know.
They're not AI.
I'm complicated.
No,
I know.
AI backgrounds.
I like AI.
That's disgusting.
But if I have a real painting, I'll use a real painting. That's what I think.
Go hang out with your boys, Musk and Kanye. They love AI.
Yay! We did it.
Those fucking guys have nothing to do with what I do. There's nothing on me. What I do is different.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Audio.
Bye.
Indigenous people.